Hi, good evening, everybody. This is episode 2 of Conversation with Dee, and my guest tonight is Timmy Gatling from the Guy, the founding member of Guy. Give me a couple of minutes, 15 minutes. I just got off the phone, and I want to tell y'all that y'all need to check out Jacked. So check out Jacked on Spotify, and also check it out on Wondery. Jacked is a story talking about how Guy got his start. You're gonna hear your girl Taraji P. Henson. She's gonna narrate it, and you're gonna love it. You're gonna enjoy every little moment of it, and you're gonna think like, "Wow, that's amazing." So I want y'all to check that out and stay tuned because we're gonna talk about Guy and we're gonna get excited and we're gonna go back to those days during the times when it was all fun and great and exciting, and when you had the door knocker earrings, the jogging suits, the silk suits for men, the Gumby haircuts, high top fades. We're gonna talk about, well, let's talk about the Adidas. Let's talk about all the fashions. Let's talk about the whole golden year, the enlightenment of the whole New Jack Swing movement. But really, what I want y'all to hear and stay tuned for is Guy, how it was formed. Not too many know the story of Guy. Not too many people know that the founding member is my guest, Mr. Timmy Gatling. Nobody knows, what took place or not. And I want y'all to, learn his story and hear him and find out some insightful things that will, wow, just make y'all wonder. So expose y'all to different things and whatnot. So stay tuned and you will hear that. Know that y'all need to watch Jacked, and y'all can find it on Spotify, which you can download on Apple, iTunes, Google, and what's the other one for Samsung? Your app store. There we go. So you can definitely find it on there, and I want y'all to check it out. It will really, it'll make you see a lot of things like, wow, this really went on, and it'll make you respect a lot of people a little bit more, and also to make you think like, wow, did they really do that? So it gives everybody the opportunity to hear the story of everybody. Everybody has a story. There's 3 sides to every story, and some people don't ideally get to hear that other side of the story. And so I think it's it's good to hear everybody's story. So stay tuned.
In a small Manhattan elevator car, the members of Guy, Timmy Gatling, Teddy Riley, and Aaron Hall, stand nervously. They're on their way to meet with Jean Griffin, Timmy and Teddy's ex-manager. Teddy Riley hasn't laid eyes on Jean since he went to prison for selling heroin 3 years before.
Teddy did not want to meet with Jean at all.
Their band Kids at Work had been so close to success they could taste it. Then Jean had to go and get arrested. Teddy Riley remembers, and he's not really sure about bringing Jean back into the mix.
Timmy was like, Jean is out of jail. I said, oh yeah? And I didn't really was overly surprised or, happy about it. I just said, okay.
But Timmy feels like he has a responsibility to make Guy a success, and that involves Jean.
I felt like, we need someone that looked the part that could be our manager.
They meet Jean in his palatial hotel suite. He looks just the same. Bald head, tinted glasses, fly clothes. But his attitude is different. He's humbler, soft-spoken even. Grateful that they've come to see him.
And that's when Jean said, just give me an opportunity to do this and whatever.
Timmy lays it out for Jean, what they want his role to be.
Just be our mouthpiece. We handle everything, just be our mouthpiece. I just thought somebody that can represent us, flash or whatever.
Jean nods along in agreement.
He was just laid back. Just, whatever y'all say, I just want to support. It was that type of meeting. Whatever y'all do, I just want to support.
By the end of the meeting, it's settled. Jean's gonna be their representative, not their manager exactly, but he'll help them shop around their demo tape, help them get a record deal. Jean seems to have mellowed out. Maybe the boys think Jean can help them get to the next level. Or maybe it's a huge mistake.
had Timmy not go to Gene, I think we'd be together today.
From Wondering and Universal Music Group, I'm Taraji P. Henson, and this is Jack. This is Jack Swing. This is something funky that you can swing. All you gotta do is come on and sing. 1, 2, 3. I made you hit Jack Swing. This is episode 2, The Devil's Nectar. Have you ever had a dream? Something you wanted so bad, you just couldn't let it go.
Episode 1.
Or Timmy Gatling?
Yeah, I skipped episode 1.
Was music.
And we were hip hop and R&B. We were unique because we dressed fly. We knew all the hip hop stuff. You like, wow, these little kids are dangerous.
And in 1989, the group he founded had made it. They're getting ready to go on stage in front of 41,000 people at the Los Angeles Coliseum. In the crowd of fly girls wearing Donna Karan jumpsuits, guys wearing leather troop bomber jackets, and Obsession cologne is all in the air. This is the biggest black music tour of the day.
I was there. It was in LA. It was the Budweiser Superfest.
The Budweiser Superfest. You know, I remember what a big deal the Superfest was back in the day, honey. It was the kind of show we would get our hair did, our nails did, our everything did. In the summer of '89, rappers Kool Moe Dee and MC Hammer are on the bill. Patti LaBelle and Timmy Gatling's group, Guy. Trim, flat top haircut, well dressed. Timmy moves through the crowd of VIPs and people recognize him. Hey, what's up, man? But here's the thing. Timmy isn't playing with his group that day.
And so people ask me, why you not on stage? What's up? You not performing? Yo, Timmy, you not performing?
Because what they don't know is that Timmy is no longer in the group. What?
The fans didn't know. It was like a conundrum. People was like, okay, wait a minute. It was confusing. And that was worse than anything.
Instead, Timmy watches his former bandmates as they go on stage without him.
Okay. So hold on 1 second. I'm going to add you too. Welcome, Mr. Gatling, Mr. Timmy. Thank you so much. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, okay. I see
you.
You
hear that sound?
No, but I hear you.
Okay, I hear you too. It's better now.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. I like that hat. That's so New Jack Swing. I like that.
Oh.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Mr. Timmy Gatling, for coming in.
Thank you, D.
Thank you. So
yeah, we went back and forth, going back and forth, right?
we
went
did.
back and forth, going
but
back.
It's all good though. I mean, it's
all
good because at the end of the day, if you want somebody to be on the show, you got to find a way to make one, and you got to stay persistent. So that's something I learned when I was in school, and hey, persistent. So thank you so much for being here. Amen. And so I want everybody to hear your story. And I also went through Jack's, a little bit of that. And I told them, hey, check that out. Y'all need to check that out and hear that. And ideally, when I reached out to you, I think maybe a while back on Instagram. And I actually had the information drafted and I was like, oh my God, I got to send this to him. I hope he's not thinking I'm playing games or nothing, because I'm really serious about this, because I came across, I was like, hold on. I looked at the album cover and I said, okay, that's not. And so I was like, okay, so you know what? I'm one of those people, I like to do research. And then I was like, okay, I read and I found out about the story, but I like to hear the story from the individual. And I'm a fan of Guy, as we all are. And just going up, listening to the sounds of what Groove Me, and I mean, all of that, just the whole enlightenment era of Guy itself was something that was big in terms of, everything. And so you're behind that. And a lot of people didn't know that. So I want you to tell people, how did that start? What happened?
Well, it started it started in, I'm from Harlem, New York, Manhattan, and Teddy and I were kids together. We were babies together. I mean, we grew up in local bands and in church. And Teddy, I believe, at the time, Teddy was 12, turning 13, and I was 14, turning 15. And me and a friend of mine named George Sudrick, who his nickname was Swire, we just happened to be looking for a band because at that time, me and my brothers used to emulate the Jacksons. My younger twin brothers, Gary and Larry, used to emulate the Jacksons, and locally we was known. But this is during the era way before your time. This is during the era where local bands were together and we would compete for contests. But we were younger, so we came across that time when, okay, now it's time to create and do your own thing. So I met Teddy on 127th and 7th Avenue in the basement, and he was playing with this older band. And we little boys, but when we walked down there, first of all, they was amazed that we had that much gumption or courage to even come down there, because they was also, even though they were musicians, they also was in the streets. So to come down at that particular time on a hunt, we come from Harlem, and at that particular time, you didn't cross over and go in nobody else's block without them knowing you. And so we just happened to come down there, and they was like, wow, these kids coming down. And we knocked on the gate. Meanwhile, now we see these grown men playing. I didn't see Teddy until they pulled the gate open and let us inside, because it was other extracurricular activities. They just happened to be in the band. So when I looked to my left, me and my friend saw Teddy, and this little kid playing the keyboard. And at that time, I wasn't quite a musician. I was just a singer dancer. And we asked the older person at the time that was in charge. His name was Cap. They call him Captain.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a possibility that we could come down and, just use your band as our backup, because we were doing little local shows.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at us, laughed to his other friends, said, no, not us, but this kid over here named Teddy. And Teddy never said anything. He was so quiet. He said this little kid named Teddy also played with a younger band as well. So, we let you hear one song that we're doing, but then, you got to go and come back tomorrow, because they play from the hours of 3 to 5. And we like, oh, okay. I'm disappointed, but then they let us hear one song that they played. And this kid was phenomenal, Teddy. He was phenomenal. But soon as we listened to him, automatically we clicked. So from there, Teddy became a fixture. We became friends, and we became a fixture. You didn't see Teddy without Tim. And so at that time, the band members was getting older. They started to go off and do their things as young adults, because even though Teddy was the youngest, there was people in the band at 18, 19, 20. So they was just starting to get off in adulthood. So Teddy came to me and said, Timmy, you're going to have to start playing an instrument if we're going to stick together. And that's when I picked up the bass. And so Teddy and I always been linked like that.
So that's awesome. That's amazing. A lot of people, don't know that story. And it's amazing that you said that. And before there was Guy, there was another group. Yeah.
Kids at work.
Yes.
Kids at work.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
we was very fortunate at the time. It was fortunate and unfortunate, because we were young and we happened to get a deal with Gene Griffin, who had a label, an independent label called Sounds of New York Records. But he quickly, once he signed us, got a deal with Sony. And so Kids at Work came out on Sony, Sounds of New York Records. So we were very fortunate. Unfortunate that it didn't last long, because he became incarcerated not soon after.
That was interesting to hear that. Like when I listened to Jack, I was like, wow, like, I never knew that, those things were going on back in the day, where you would have a manager that was running a block. And
well, that's where we came from, D. We came from, everybody was doing their thing. That's paid in full store. That's our location. I'm from 120th and Morningside Avenue, Teddy from 127th. in St. Nicholas Projects and 7th Avenue, and Rich Porter, Alpo, all of them was right there on 146th Street and 7th and St. Nick. So we always cross paths like that. I mean, you had to learn how to maneuver, but we was born into that,
Yeah, I mean that's amazing. Like a lot of people they don't know, because some people do, some people don't. And not only that, but it's amazing that you're a songwriter. And a lot of people don't know that you are behind many of the favorites. So not only did you write most of the songs on the first Guy album, so Piece of My Love,
Yeah,
You
I
Can
wrote.
Call Me Crazy,
Yeah, yeah,
Groove Me. You also did what a couple of my favorites. I Talk to Myself by Christopher Williams.
yeah,
You also was behind Al B. Shore's hold on, let me If I'm Not Your Lover.
yep, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Me and Teddy did that, but we
Yeah.
also like we did Promises, Talk
Promises,
to
yeah.
Myself. We
And
did,
Sexy Sex.
yeah.
Yep.
Sexy
I know
Sex.
that song.
We
Yeah.
did Keep Sweat Make You. I did Keep Sweat Make You Sweat,
Yes.
and we did Belle Biv DeVoe and Ralph and Bobby. And My Prerogative was a song that didn't make the Guy record at the time because we were saving it for Guy 2. I just thought
Wow.
I just thought that we would, have a second album because we worked so hard on the first in Teddy Riley's mother living room. I mean, we was in there day and night. We was in the zone.
I actually kind of figured that was a Guy song. I don't know what it was, but the whole arrangement, I was like, something about that.
Yeah.
That was Guy. And so you always hear the stories about, okay, the songs that were supposed to be for certain people. And you're like, okay, how would it have sounded or whatnot?
It just would have been Aaron instead of Bobby.
Yeah.
And Aaron sung most of the backgrounds anyway with My Prerogative.
Wow.
But that's during the time when I was writing, like when I wrote, because the whole first album I wrote everything in its entirety. Matter of fact, the first 3 songs when I met Aaron, we already had, before we linked back up with Teddy, we already had written Don't Clap Your Hands, Just Dance, Piece of My Love, and Goodbye Love. So those songs was written, but then when we hooked up with Teddy, I wrote Groove Me,
okay,
of Groove Me, Goodbye Love. We redid Goodbye Love, Piece of My Love, Don't Clap Your Hands, Just Dance, You Can Call Me Crazy, and My Business. Those were my songs, and I was in that mind frame, that mindset of My Business, You Can Call Me Crazy, My Prerogative, always like stay out of my
oh my God. That was not supposed to play.
That's all right. And stay basically, let me do my own thing. And that was near, You Can Call Me Crazy, in My Business was nearing the end with my relationship with management that I bought in. So I was like, I'm not gonna go for the banana in the tailpipe. I'm not gonna go for the bush. It is what it is. And so I wrote all, even today, Him or Me. I wrote all of that stuff.
Wow. And that's amazing. And then for me, just looking back at the whole artistry, for me, when I think of Guy, I think of the whole swag, the dapperness, the zoot suits, the whole silk suits, the gold chains.
We never wore zoot suits.
Y'all didn't wear
hammer pants.
No, but y'all had some big ones though. I see some of the suits. And some of y'all did.
No, the one thing we did, we was big on the Valero jackets. We was big on leathers.
Okay.
We was big on Susan Bennett shoes. And we was big on rhinestones.
And the chromatic colors.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. And then the whole Gumby, the high top fade.
Yep, that's
and
what
the windbreakers, the windbreakers.
That's what it was back then.
No, but that's dope though. I like that fashion. Like it came back. People still wear that.
Yeah, man. It's all coming back, even the music.
Yeah.
Praise God.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Guy, if it wasn't for you, we would not have people like Chris Brown, Usher. I mean,
Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars, yes. Tons of people. So that's why it's important for us to hear these stories and for people to know that, guess what? You are the you are the person behind it, and other people are behind things too. And it makes sense because I mean, for me, I know that you were behind it. I know that other people were behind it, but some people don't know that. They think, oh, it was all, it was Beyonce. No, it was not. No. He created that or whatnot, like certain things that people come out with, and I'm like, no, that was somebody else. I can literally look and decipher like little songs, and I'm like, that's so and so wrote that. How do you know that? I said, I just listen to old school music and I know certain things. Like that's definitely, and normally when you hear like the little woman's voice, that's like played back and you know the song is sampled. And someone's like, how do you know that? I said, it's if you play it back, and back in the days of cassette tapes, you could kind of do that a little bit.
Right.
Like we used to listen to the radio and record the radio station with the songs. This was back in the day when I like back in what the 2000s. It was so funny. And I would have to record the songs, and we had something similar to the little shows, the performing shows, something called the Super Show, and Flint. People would perform. I always wanted to be a part of that, but I was like, oh no, oh Lord, I don't want them booing me. But I remember like literally watching stuff like Apollo, and it came from New York. A lot of people don't know that, but that came from New York. That really did, and then it migrated to the Midwest, and you know, that's where it became, you know, known or whatnot. But it was really known, well, it came from New York. And that was very important because that's when you really seen a lot of people, if they had talent or not, and it was a make it or break it. They would see you and they would say, okay, yay or nay. And some people got booed, and it's okay because Lauryn Hill clearly, look, she was on Apollo, and look at her. So that's an example. So
yeah, Luther.
Yep. Your song. Okay, I hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, you went out. You said or something.
I don't know, but a lot of people got booed.
Oh yeah, boot. They did. And I mean, it's okay. Just like on what's the show with Star Search. A lot of people that should have made it did not make it.
The audio is a little funny. Do you hear it?
Yeah, I hear some of it.
It's clear now. It's clear now.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of people got booed on Apollo. We were very fortunate. If I can recall, I believe we almost got booed at the Apollo.
What?
Yeah, we almost got booed because it wasn't necessarily an Apollo show, but it was like it was a hip hop. Yes, it was. It was a hip hop award show, local hip hop at the Apollo. And we came out, and by then we were kids at work. But even though they knew singing Hey Yeah, and it was a local hit, they never really saw us perform. So even before we went on the stage, we were petrified because Apollo just booed the boot. They don't give you a chance. If they smell fear, it's a wrap.
So the Sandman came out and just got
No, nobody came out. They booed us before we even came on the stage. They said our name and people went boo. So when you young, you automatically think, damn, they hate us. They don't even know us. But once we got out there and performed, because you got to remember, we was young, but we played our instruments live. Teddy played live, I played live, and Clarell at the time was our lead singer, could sing. But when we left, they was applauding, standing up. It was a wrap. And you know, we got the bug.
That's what's up.
Then we got the bug. So we were very, very fortunate. But you know, once Kids at Work was over and done with, that Teddy and I took a break because in a real short story, we played so many shows, so many as young kids trying to make it, and then being in groups and being signed to a major label so young, and then it all falling apart. It's like we were up here 1 minute, our second single came out. Then when Gene Griffin got incarcerated, it's like the ball dropped. Everything stopped.
Wow.
But, you know, it was a bittersweet because we got a chance to mature, grow, and learn the game. And I was relentless on learning the game.
What did it teach you, like all of that happened? Because it happened so quickly for you. So how was it being able to transition and like bounce back? How was that for you?
Difficult, very difficult. But you got a lot of prayers from our parents, a lot of friends, and a lot of people stop believing. Like, okay, that was a one-hit shot. You got to get a job now. Matter of fact, if you listen to the podcast, I went and
Mhm.
got a job. I got a job in Brooklyn at Abraham and Strauss, and at the time I didn't want it, but look how God works. That's where I met Aaron.
Man.
And I was so reluctant and hesitant on meeting any. I didn't want nobody to know me. I think every artist go through that. If you have to basically fall from grace,
Mhm.
and now we thought that Kids at Work was the biggest thing we did.
Mhm.
In my spirit, I knew there was more, but I'm like, I don't want nobody to know me. Who recognized me of all people? Aaron Hall.
Gotcha. I mean, that's good though, because honestly, a lot of people look at it like, hey, if you don't make it big and you fall off, that's it. But that's not true. There's people that
No.
literally are doing things behind the scenes and they are flourishing still. And I guess my next question would be, do you believe that the A&Rs make and break the artist's career?
Yes, the A&Rs could make or break your career. I don't think they could destroy your career,
Mhm.
but they can make and break it, especially during that time. Now we have, social media, we have internet, we have everything going on. So an artist could basically stay at home if they use the internet and they're disciplined and consistent enough. You could break yourself. You can hit. It's the matter on how many hits you get, how many followers, how many it is.
You're right.
Back then it wasn't like that. You depended on that record company, the promotion department, everybody to follow you. Now we were very fortunate because we come from an independent label. It's just God just let all the stars align. Andre Harrell was building a new company, Uptown Records. We was the third artist up there, and we was the only group at the time. So we have full autonomy to do what we wanted to do, to executive produce our own records, come up with our own style, image, everything, and God allowed me to do that. Normally, you wouldn't get that done. So God was basically a $500,000 group that did their own thing. Like we dressed ourselves. We were always street fly,
Yeah.
but we basically wanted to connect. That was my goal. That was the vision that God gave me,
Mhm.
to connect that street source to the music source to the hip hop source, and
Exactly.
it happened. We really had no haters as far as the street
That's awesome.
went, and the girls and the guys back, the gangsters and stuff, and even the rap world. It's like, even now, Piece of My Love is sampled so much, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it really is. Like a lot of people, and then also Goodbye Love too. That's sample.
Goodbye Love.
Mm-hmm. It
Yeah,
really is.
sample, like, you go from anywhere from Chris Brown to
Mm-hmm.
Ty Dolla Sign to
Yep.
Big Sean to Two Chains, Lil Wayne, In Vogue,
Nas,
Ruffa, Nas, it's a Tupac.
Mary J. Blige.
Everybody sampled.
Mm-hmm.
And Mariah Carey. Everybody
Mm-hmm.
sampled Piece of My Love.
Cry Baby. Yep.
Yep.
Oh no,
You do your homework, D.
I
You
told
did
you.
your homework.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff that people don't, and also certain little pieces of things that Aaron Hall said in songs, people
Right.
sample as well. And
Right.
I'm like, that's Aaron Hall right there. Come on now.
Yeah.
Y'all
Aaron.
know that. The little
Well,
ad libs.
yeah.
So
We
yeah.
said God had allowed, Jesus Christ allowed us to set the bar because so
Amen.
many people after us, even R. Kelly, from
Mm-hmm.
R. Kelly on down, the Boys, the Men, to
Yes.
Jodeci, everybody copied our
Yes.
style. And I don't blame. I'm happy.
Yeah.
It's like it's really a joy to me to see groups that followed us and
Mm-hmm.
tried to be like us and tried to do. We said God allow us to pioneer that, so that's great.
Yeah. Drew Hill was another one too, because Cisco was
Yeah,
always doing that ad lib.
yeah. Everybody did the rest. Everybody did the
Yeah.
ad lib. Everybody wanted the swing beat.
Yes.
And everybody loved them bass lines. So.
Yeah. What advice would you give for emerging new artists? like coming on board?
If you were a real artist
Mm-hmm.
and you really believe it, and this is what you love, first and foremost, pray to Jesus Christ, pray to God. You're gonna take a lot. It's gonna take, when I say it's gonna take a lot, when I say it's gonna take a lot, it's gonna take a lot. And you gotta be disciplined. It takes a lot of discipline and focus. Nowadays, it wasn't like when we came up. When we came up in the late 70s and 80s, the hunger was there because we didn't have social media. Everything, you had to go out and run and make it happen. Or you couldn't even think about being, you could be a dreamer. Dreaming was good, but after that, you had to hit the streets. You had to even go into radio stations and clubs. You had to be there. It wasn't no hearsay or whatever. The hearsay came after you had a mile hit. If you had a semi hit, then that's when the hearsay came. If your record got played on the radio now, these kids could stay. They could be lazy. They could stay at home. Matter of fact, they don't even need a hit record, and a record company give them millions of dollars to go to the jewelry store, hold up stacks of money. But then you realize, okay, yeah, they known, but they sold their life away. Their publishing rights are
And
gone
that's a big
completely.
issue right now, too, the whole publishing and the masters. People are not realizing, a lot of the young people, they're not realizing that, hey, they got everything that you pretty much worked hard for. And like Taylor Swift was one of them. And I'm still surprised that that happened to her as a songwriter, because songwriters, these are things that songwriters normally know, the
Right.
publishing, all of that.
Yeah, well, the thing with Taylor Swift, when she came up, her deal was great. Not that she didn't make a lot of money, because she
Yeah.
did. And not to say she didn't own a part of her publishing, but
Mhm.
she did. But when Schooner went and bought the publishing bought the company that she belonged to, along with that came all the masters, all the publishing.
Mm.
So basically, he bought her rights. So
Mm.
that's why she's in the studio trying to reproduce some of these songs. But how do you reproduce? And as far as business goes,
Mhm.
that's what she has to do to really own it all if they work out a situation. Because regardless of whether you
Mhm.
reproduce or whatever, if Schooner own the masters or whatever, it don't, you
It
can
is what
reproduce all
it
you
is.
want,
Yeah.
but at the same time, how do you reproduce that quality, that time, that energy that happened at that particular time? That's kind of hard to do, because now you got money, you're a millionaire, you in your own trying to capture that same energy and whatever. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly. I agree. What do you enjoy doing the most? The singing, the writing, or the producing? What do you enjoy the most?
Well, we got something in the works now, but I don't sing. I haven't sung a bit on stage in a
You
very,
did.
very long time.
I heard you dun 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 dun,
Misdemeanor.
dun. Foster yeah, Foster Silver, Mr.
Yeah,
Mean.
misdemeanor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I haven't sung in a long time. Like, I haven't even been on stage with Guy besides rehearsals and promos. But when it came time for us to really bang it out, Teddy and I, when we see each other, like I talked to Teddy for Thanksgiving, I talked to Teddy a day ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so me and Teddy, where I talked to Aaron like a month or two ago, and I haven't talked to Damien in a long while. So we trying to just keep your prayers up and keep it open, because
Amen.
like most groups, you got to remove the egos.
Mm-hmm.
And now that everybody has been successful in their own right, that
Mm-hmm.
is, it's going to take Jesus Christ and God to really make sure everything go right. We could talk all night and day, but it's about business now. So we got something working out, but I haven't seen. Right now, God has blessed me. I love the administration part.
Mm-hmm.
I love, you know, being, creative consultant producer, being executive producer, supervising movies, and just being behind the scenes and pulling strings. And I kind of did that even in the beginning of the Guy, because God gave me that vision. I wasn't gonna sign no stupid ass contract with Gene.
No, that's all right.
I wasn't gonna do it. And matter of fact, it wasn't like I wasn't gonna do it and didn't tell my boy. Me and Teddy was like brothers, and I told Ted, "Yo, don't do this. Don't do it." I didn't know that they had already went behind my back
Wow.
and did it. You know, if you listen to the podcast, you heard Damien.
Mm-hmm.
How in the hell somebody not even know your name, but yet you sign your life rights away? I like what the you know that still bothers me that someone could be
Yeah.
you want it ain't about and I heard what they said, so I don't want to
Uh-huh.
talk too bad about it
Yeah.
for future for future references, but I'm like, how can you anybody could come up from the street and slap something in front of you and I say I need you to sign it? Would you do it?
No, you got to get that attorney to read over these things. Like
And
for me,
then
yeah.
yeah, hindsight, you got an attorney, but the attorney said, I hope you didn't do it. Because don't
Yeah.
nobody own nothing. So basically, they had to basically come back to me. They couldn't even release the album
Mm.
without paying me
Mm.
and making sure that all my publishing was given to me, every song on that record. Because
Good.
everybody named was on that record, even though they didn't write it. The ones who wrote it was basically me, Teddy, and Aaron. But Aaron didn't write all of the songs. But me and Teddy always wrote the song "Yourself a Goodbye Love, Peace of My Love." But Teddy came and rearranged it.
Mm.
So we agreed to give everybody equal. At the time, I was like, no, get the Gene ain't no songwriter.
That
He
sounds
ain't
like
no
back
producer.
with Frankie Lyman, with his producer did that or whatever. They not producer, but the record label, they put the name on it. And he didn't produce anything.
Not
Like, oh, he didn't do that.
the owner of the label. Is
Yeah,
that crazy?
yeah,
But not that we were just smart.
yeah.
I thought we had learned from Kids at Work because we dealt with Gene before, and we
Hmm.
were so young at the time that we were just eager for success. To
Hmm.
see your picture on the album cover and see your name and you're almost there. Okay, I'll sign. And at the time we got to travel a lot of places, had the finest clothes, but we didn't know we wasn't receiving no checks,
Mm.
nothing. So 4 years later, now we're young men, know the game a little bit better. And I wasn't willing to sign off
And that was
on
your
any of that.
discernment. That's good. Like when I listened to the episode, I think it was episode 2 or it might have been episode well, and you were like, and that was your discernment. And discernment is a great thing to have. People don't understand, but that will keep you from making these bad mistakes. And you sensed that something was not right with Gene. You
It
sensed it.
wasn't just a sense,
Yeah.
D.
You
I
felt
knew.
it.
I knew.
You
I was
knew.
like anybody after we did the deal with Uptown and Andre was so on it. You got to remember, I'll Be Sure just came out. So
Mm-hmm.
Teddy and I did 2 songs for I'll Be Sure. We did You Can Call Me Crazy and If I'm Not Your Lover with Slick Rick. I wrote both of them. But then we pulled the song You Can Call Me Crazy back
Mm-hmm.
from Al.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Gene Griffin's doing. That wasn't my doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was starting to get funky then. But after I'll Be Sure, after Heavy D was
Mm-hmm.
I'll Be Sure, and then Guy.
Mm.
This is before Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Puff, all of that. Puff was his assistant. I mean, he was an intern.
Mm-hmm.
So we came on the scene. If you look on my IG, there's pictures where you could see even then
Mm-hmm.
we were wearing furs and
I seen them. I said that's dope. Because in Michigan, we like our furs and gaiters and stuff too.
yeah. So we
Yeah.
was doing that before we even got signed. And you see Andre Harrell. Andre Harrell had on a little
Mm-hmm.
baseball jacket, unassuming, But we were always like Aaron had on a suit because Aaron didn't really know. Aaron was a church boy. If you look at the pic, Aaron got on the suit, but Aaron was always suited like that. Teddy, myself, and G, we was street. We come from church. We played in the church,
Mm-hmm.
but we was more street.
Mm-hmm.
The furs, the suede shoes.
Yeah.
You know,
Stacey
things like
Adams. Yeah.
we never wore Stacey Adams.
Really?
Never.
That's a Michigan thing then, because
Yeah.
people were
Yeah,
yeah.
we would go down in the village,
Okay.
way downtown, and to the boutiques and get our shoes.
Mm.
Yeah,
That's
so
what's up.
we were always like that. So basically, we gave Aaron style, because not as far as clothes. Now, Aaron always suited and booted, suits tailored, but as far as there's a different type of suit savvy
Mhm.
and just being able to put your clothes together street savvy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a total different thing. So we came and we groomed them.
So this is my last question because Mr. Gatling got a lot going on, and I don't want to take up your time. So, what is Aaron Hall really saying on "Piece of My Love"?
He did not say dumb beat. I know that.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. Because
Yeah,
somebody,
it was more than it just happened to be at the same time as the beat. It's just everything coincided. He really was saying dumb diddy. He always said dumb diddy, you know, and it just happened to be you caught the dumb D and people just ran away with it. But it's
okay,
been an ongoing rumor for Gapa up
yes.
until now, 30 years later.
One of my friends on Facebook, we were talking about that. She's like, "No, go back," and I said, "No, he did not say that." And so
Nah, dumb
I had
diddy.
to. So you were hearing it from Timmy Gatling that was not the case, y'all. So there you have it. He is not
Well,
saying.
hey, listen, I got 5 minutes more, so
Okay. Oh, you said
shoot.
okay. I guess I could say. I mean, this is just awesome right here. Like, thank you so much. Like, literally.
D,
I
I told you when we talked on the phone, and I don't give a lot of
know.
people my
I
contact. I
know.
said,
I
D,
believe you. I believe you.
I love how I don't look at. I'd never look at how many followers somebody got, how
Yes.
many. That's not my deal.
I appreciate
I'm
that.
like I want to uplift the young. I believe the young people is where our future is. Any way I can help. And I like do many interviews from overseas. They got a lot of followers over there, but they're trying to break
Mhm.
in over here. And I've done that because I did concerts over there. I'm like, but my own peeps
Mhm.
from here, especially African American, I'm bigging up everybody. I ain't got
Thank
the followers.
you.
You
I
know,
appreciate that.
no problem at all.
So, like, what's going on? I know you can't tell me everything, but I know, like, as far as like what's going on in terms of with you separately from Guy that you're working on, that everybody needs
Well,
to like
well,
look
I've
for and
done
support.
done 2 movies, but I'm also vice president of Pop Life Global Universal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an Asian American company, distributed by Universal. So I've been doing
Awesome.
that now for 2 years. 2 years I've been VP of the Black and Latin Music Department.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've been doing that and just putting together other groups and basically administrating my publishing, and that anybody can't use it unless I sign off on it.
Amen. And you notice I didn't play no songs. I mean,
No, you know what?
I would ask you for permission because I'm big on
You
that.
don't have to ask for permission. I told you that when we talked. It's a
I know,
spirit
but that's just
of feeling I get. Play
respectful.
it, play it, play it. Because I'm going to get the money anyway.
No, but the song that you came out with, they're saying "Groove Me Part 2," "Rock Me." That one was nice.
Rock me good.
Yeah, okay,
Rock
"Rock
me
Me"
good.
was nice.
People don't even
That
know that
whole
album. I
album
didn't.
was nice. That was a
D. I
nice
couldn't.
album.
I did not promote that record. I really didn't promote. I did a few
Wow.
shows like Soul Train
Uh-huh.
and stuff, but the record damn near almost went gold. The whole album almost went
It
gold.
was a nice album. Like I was listening to it and I said, "Okay, we got
Because
some."
when I came out to LA,
Uh-huh.
I was doing 3 or 4 things at the same time. I
Mm.
just left Guy, then Cassandra Mills and Lil Silas was the vice president of MCA Records at the time.
Mm-hmm.
He brought me out from New York to California
Mm-hmm.
to work on Belle Biv DeVoe, Christopher Williams, Climax,
Mm-hmm.
and Neutrons and things like that. And Cassandra brought me out to do Christopher Williams, David Geffen at the time, Geffen Records.
Mm-hmm.
Brought me and my partner Alton Wilkie Stewart out to do
Yep.
Christopher Williams. So it basically was a test. Okay, this is the kid that's from this group that's going up the charts. It's only 3 of them. We know Teddy Riley is Teddy Riley, but they
Mm-hmm.
saying this kid put the group together and wrote these songs. So people took a chance on me to see if I really was the one. So our first crack, people said, "Oh, Talk to Myself sounds so much like Prerogative." That's because we wrote it. I got pissed at Chris on Unsung because I talked to Chris too, but I got pissed because he said, "Oh yeah, that was a quick bite from Talk to Myself." I said, "You talk about the kid that created Guy. That was our sound. What you saying don't make sense." My job is to say, okay, if your owner of your record company, David
Mm-hmm.
Geffen, said, can you give me a prerogative?
Mm-hmm.
What am I
And you did
supposed to do?
that. You produced.
I'm gonna show you I can give you a prerogative and I can make it go in the top 5. And and talk to myself. Christopher Williams' debut record, me and my partner Altamoki Stewart, went
Mm-hmm.
number 4 on the top 5 in the top 5 on Billboard. So we
Mm.
did our job.
Y'all did. I mean, that album was bad. It was a dope album. And you also wrote for Miss Stephanie Mills. A lot of
Yeah,
people don't know
we did
that either. Yeah,
on the
y'all
home
exactly.
album. On the
Yes.
home album.
Yeah, and Ralph Tresvant as well.
Yeah,
So
last night.
yeah.
Yeah, we did. So we did a lot of stuff. And then once Keith seen that I was doing my own, making my own noise individually out in Cali, I literally came back home to visit my parents. I
Mm.
came back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to take, you know how you take care of
Mm-hmm.
your
Yeah,
family.
I know how to mama.
So so I came back home and Keith at the time, but this is before he moved to Atlanta, but at the time he was working on his sophomore album. Because Teddy had did his first album.
Mm.
But now Gene Griffin had Teddy in the headlock. Now Teddy basically did the first I Want a album for nearly nothing. Because
Mm.
Teddy was up and coming. Nobody knew it was gonna hit. Even his first album was on an independent
Mm-hmm.
entertainment that just happened to be on Electra.
Mm-hmm.
Electra picked the album up. But now he has to prove himself on his second record because the first album went 2 million. So Keith Sweat is a great songwriter in his own
Yeah.
right, but he did not have that first single banger. He didn't have that first single to open the album up to show that the first album wasn't a fluke. So that's when he basically came around to my mother's house where we lived
Mm-hmm.
and, wanted to see me. And so when I got, I got in his car and we started talking. He said, Tim, I need you to come with a banger.
Mm.
Now, but that's because we all grew up together.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So everybody knew what everybody did. Keith knew that Teddy, yeah, he was a great producer and arranger and keyboard player. But Keith knew that I wrote the lyrics and helped arrange the song, and I was the bass player. So if you listen to Make You Sweat, you'll hear all of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe me and my partner gave him a banger. And that's what we did. We gave him a banger. Make You Sweat went #1 for 5 weeks.
It was a nice song. I mean, I still listen to it, like literally. Da-na-na-na, da-na, da-na,
Mm-hmm.
da-na, da. My mom played all those songs when I was little. She had all the key sets and all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, so
That's right.
again, God bless us where we was able to do our job. It's like, and if somebody wasn't, I believe in not just me, anybody that claims they're a songwriter and anybody that claims they helped create whatever sound there was, if you can't take it and duplicate it and show what you did and the input you had on anything, you can't do it again somewhere else, then it's not true.
Mm.
It's not true. I was able, because really I was left to be on my own. It's like once Teddy
Mm.
and Aaron and Gene, they went off and had the success they had, even though I was getting paid from it, I wasn't a part of it. And so I had to basically reestablish my whole career.
And
But
that's
I had a kickstart
Mhm.
because my face was on that album cover.
Yes, it was.
And so people knew, oh, okay, who is this? Because my picture was on it, but Damien's name was on the back.
Mm.
So that even made people, they tried to do that to pull it off, but that even made people more curious. No, who is this? And I think they played on the intelligence of fans and people. When people, they want to know, they want to get to the bottom of it. Who is this guy?
Mhm.
And then they found out Timmy Gatling. That's when everything
And that's
started
what made
popping.
me want to know. Like I was like, hold on, something ain't wrong with that. And so you want to know, you want to find out. And I mean, to me, like I said, growing up in Flint, Michigan, we listened to Guy, we listened to all of that. And I just thank you for founding that and being a part of that and just being a part of the culture and just producing great dope songs. Thank you so much. And thank you
I
for
appreciate it.
being part of this
You know,
and taking time out because you're extremely busy. And I appreciate it. I really do.
thank you. Praise God for everything. Because without
Amen.
him and other legendary groups that we rode on the backs on, like Kool and the Gang, Earth, Wind and Fire, Gap Band, you know, and Daz Band, and so forth and so on, Confunction, Slave. I mean, if we didn't have these groups, Parliament, Funkadelic, and we wouldn't have nothing to Commodore. We wouldn't have nothing to play off of. And that's what we did, you know, and just took that and try to make it something brand new. And Jesus allowed us to do that. So,
Amen.
yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
It's a
I'm not
pleasure,
gonna
D.
hold you.
Anytime.
And like I said, if you want to do a part 2, let me know.
I will. You got my
Thank
number.
you. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Okay. You
Be
too, D.
safe.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.